Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and we had a pretty good day the last 24 hours. Yesterday, after the talk of the SEC making comments that led people to believe that maybe these exchanges could relist XRP after all, and so the prices of XRP went up quite a lot yesterday. I saw figures as high as plus 15%, I think. Crossed 50 cents, went as high as, I think it says here, as high as 55 cents, and as low as 48 cents. So good stuff. Okay, so yesterday, after Jeremy Hogan's video had hit, and we all saw what he had said about, and then I retweeted it, and several other people retweeted it. That's when this whole movement started of hashtag relist XRP. Why not relist XRP? And so this thing went viral, and it says it became one of the trending hashtags on Twitter. 19.7 thousand tweets, probably a lot more than that by now. And I had tweeted this out, and I wanted to kind of let it turn into a big list of exchanges that we wanted to copy in on this to make them aware of what we were aware of. Please retweet this thread. I'm going to call it Exchanges That Should Relist XRP thread. List any and all exchanges, executives who delisted. I'll start. Now, some of these, because I didn't know for sure if some of these, turns out some of these have never did delist. And so, like for instance, I had this one, Hobie Global. They reached out to me to point out, and I did a tweet on that. FYI, Hobie Global reached out. They never delisted. Some outside the U.S. did not. And here's their actual listing. I promised them that I would show you guys this. And it's not just them. There are others that you'll see in the thread that did not. Like BitTrue did not delist, I don't think. And then somebody else said in here that maybe, I think somebody said Kraken did not, but I don't know this for a fact. But anyway, the bottom line is it's a really good thread. We know Coinbase did. We know Grayscale did. I'm pretty sure Binance did. Yeah, Binance did. And then I'm not sure about Kraken. iTrustCapital is a platform that has several providers where they get the pricing and all that for XRP. And it wasn't iTrustCapital that decided to delist. It was their providers. And so iTrustCapital, hopefully some of their providers will relist, and then iTrustCapital will be able to. And then, of course, we did the hashtag relist XRP. That is going crazy. I did copy Catherine Coley, the CEO of Binance US, on it. And then a bunch, you go down this thread, there's a lot of people that got copied in. Okay, so moving along here. Now, this right here, I believe, is what is going to set it all off. I don't think you've seen anything with digital assets, the blockchain space, the digital asset space. I think it's the beginning of the beginning of the beginning. But I think that this Coinbase IPO is what is going to set it all off. This is what's going to set it off. Because look, the big money, the rich people, the Wall Street people, the second they see this, and I believe that IPO is going to go crazy. I, for one, am going to buy Coinbase stock. The second that I can buy it, I'm going to start buying it the second that goes public. Okay, I wish I could do it before then. In fact, Link2 had Coinbase on their platform about a year ago, I think. But I never did get a shot at that. So, Coinbase is to go public next month. The SEC has been reviewing the exchange's plan for a direct listing. Coinbase been facing regulatory scrutiny relating to wash trading, among other allegations. And there was a thing the other day where they settled something with the CFTC. And I think this is all part of the due diligence heading towards IPO. But when this happens, write it down. It's all going to explode. This is all going to take off. Okay, this was interesting because yesterday, on the same day that Jeremy Hogan had recorded his video, apparently yesterday or the day before, he had done an interview on Brad Combs' show, and the other guy here is Seal Law, XRP attorney Seal, and so you can give him a follow, and of course give attorney Jeremy a follow, and then of course give Digital Perspectives a follow. All these guys are moving and shaking in this space. All right, so listen to what is said in this clip from Digital Perspective show. I'm going to up that volume so you can hear it. It's not as quite as loud. One sec. All right, now.
They make a good argument to hang your hat on, right, Jeremy?
Absolutely. Well, what Seal just said is, I'm not one to rain on a good speculation parade, so I'm going to go with you guys here. So here's my take on it. So if the U.S. government wants the escrowed XRP, it will have it.
If the U.S. government wants the XRP escrow, it will have it. Okay, this is something that I know Brad Combs has felt like for a long time, and I've felt the same way. I've never believed, because I've seen companies get huge and watched. Anytime a company gets too big, too much money, the government comes in and tries to break them up. Well, this is a startup that, when this all goes off, would be worth the amount, but would be worth more than some countries. And I've never believed that they were going to be allowed to keep that escrow. I've always believed it would either be allocated to some organization that's a global organization, or some U.S. entities would be created or something to handle that escrow. And it's almost, look, what is Ripple? What I've always thought Ripple is, I think that this is the equivalent of the formation of the Federal Reserve. That's what I've always thought this was. It's like they're rolling what has always been the Federal Reserve into the next system, the next plan. And you'll hear them reference that when they're talking about how Bretton Woods and all of that. We've heard them. If you go to the World Economic Forum's website, they're talking about Great Reset. And when they're saying that, they're talking about history. They're talking about what happened after World War II and the formation of, they're talking about the Bretton Woods Conference and the formation of the IMF and the World Bank, all these things that happen based on what I've read from these people, that happen every 50 years. Every 50 or so years, there's some kind of a reset. And really, if you really want to tell the truth about it, it's after the central bankers have had 50 years to destroy the system that they created through irresponsibility, and now they're going to create a new system. But it is what it is. And like I've said all along, the powers that be aren't going anywhere. Okay? So, XRP Escrow, he says if the U.S. government wants to control it, they'll control it. I agree. And then BondCrypt, this rolls into this. I wanted to show you this. BondCrypt put this out. World's population 7.8 billion. XRP rich list active wallets 2.6 million. Take into account 252,793 of the 0 to 19 XRP wallets with just the minimum 20 XRP. So percentage could be even slightly less. More than one wallet owned by same person, plus maybe a couple of other factors. So therefore, and so he's basically saying, yeah, it shows 2,600 active wallets, but when it comes down to people, that's probably a less figure than that even. Therefore, the world's population, and he's using that 2,646 figure. Therefore, the world's population of people owning XRP would be that figure divided by the world's population, which means that 0.03% of the population or less owns XRP. Now, we are early in this life-changing event. 0.03%, consider yourself one of the fortunate ones. I have to agree with that. Now, this reminded me of something else. That 7.8 billion people on the planet reminded me of, does anybody remember when Mark it's Mark Harris, right? Mark Phillips, I'm sorry, wrote this. He wrote this article, and Ian Northing is referencing it here. Article from April, XRP was designed for $10,000. I quoted Ripple Labs co-founder Arthur Brito, who wrote, XRP must be scalable to accommodate 7.5 billion people. XRP will be a world reserve currency, or as Miguel Vias said, a world reserve digital currency. That was his simple goal. That's his quote. He had the simple goal of making XRP a world reserve digital currency. And then Mark Phillips wrote this article. I want to read you a section of this article for those of you who have never seen it. Introducing a new world reserve currency. Wikipedia describes a reserve currency as a currency that is held in significant quantities by governments and institutions as part of their foreign exchange reserves. The reserve currency is commonly used in international transactions, international investments, and all aspects of global economy. It is often considered a hard currency or safe haven currency. People who live in a country that issues a reserve currency can purchase imports and borrow across borders more cheaply than people in other nations because they do not need to exchange their currency to do so. XRP is perfectly positioned to serve as a world reserve currency. Not the world reserve currency, a world reserve currency, folks. It can be held in significant quantities to provide liquidity for foreign exchange reserves, international transactions and investments, and all other uses throughout a global economy. In an earlier article, XRP was designed for $10,000. I quoted Ripple Labs co-founder Arthur Brito, who wrote, XRP must be scalable to accommodate 7.5 billion people. Does this mean that it was designed to be used by every human on the planet and to serve as a world reserve currency? Yes and yes. But back to Jeremy Hogan's comment that if the U.S. wants to have the XRP escrow, it will. I personally believe the U.S. will have part of it, but I believe that this is more about a global thing. And I also think that it's more about a global thing, the reining in of Bitcoin. Just remember, these people are all on the same team. The Janet Yellens, the Christine Lagardes, all of these people, they're the same people. I'm going to show you in a second, okay? And all these people, we know that Bitcoin can't be the world reserve currency because Bitcoin doesn't work, because it's proof of work. And you can see it right in front of your eyes if you'll just look. I'm going to show you once again here. Watch. It's always been XRP, folks. It's always been XRP, and I would say XLM too. Now, remember Miguel Vias? Remember him? Okay, he tweeted this out this weekend. Wouldn't be, and what he's saying here, minus any reining in or regulation, is correct. I agree with. Wouldn't be surprising to see Bitcoin trade sideways for a while and totally surprise everyone. That said, it's only a matter of time before it hits 200K, and that feels conservative. So much institutional awareness and interest now. I don't know what he meant here. Anyway, he's basically talking about how Bitcoin, with all these institutions coming in, is probably going to go up a lot in value. I agree, but Bitcoin has not faced the real scary part of these things, the regulations and the things, and it's not me talking. These people have said that they need to regulate Bitcoin, and I'm going to show you it's not just me talking here. I'm not making this up. But look at what Miguel Vias said when someone actually called him out and asked him a question about this. So, enough ball busting. What are your thoughts on Bitcoin as it pertains to Chinese miners? A 51% attack. The U.S. position as pertains to China's dominance in the Bitcoin crypto markets. Digital yuan, the climate issue as pertains to Bitcoin. Miguel Vias. As for the U.S., it can't love that so much mining sits in China. But the broader risk is to USD if Bitcoin really takes off. Don't think the U.S. sheds a tear if Bitcoin goes away. The next 18 to 24 months are going to be interesting. I'm telling you, folks, this is it right here. This is where the rubber meets the road. And I think I can tell you how they're going to rein Bitcoin in. That's what I'm going to do next. Watch this. Okay. Crypto Cobra sends me this article. This is from March 17th. Janet Yellen wants to overhaul corporate taxes for the whole world. She's talking to other countries about a minimum rate. Remember what these people are. These are globalists, okay? They're working on a global plan. And remember, all they talk about at the World Economic Forum, all they talk about when they go to Davos, and she's one of them, all they talk about is climate change. And I've always scratched my head, what does climate change have to do with money? I don't understand, unless you want it to have something to do with money. And I think they want it to have everything to do with money. And I think I'm going to show you what I think they're going to do to Bitcoin. I think they're going to tax the crap out of it. It's going to be they're going to, if you're digital asset, and you're also seeing what's his face, the guy from Shark Tank, Mr. Wonderful, you're also seeing him talk almost like he knows something now. He's running around talking about, was your coin mined in China, and as if you're going to be penalized for it. Listen to what they say in this article about Janet Yellen overhauling corporate taxes on a global level. Okay? It says Nobel Prize winning economist Joseph Stiglitz, a mentor of Yellen's, told the Post that if she is successful in these talks, it would be a little like the Paris Climate Accord of taxes. Yellen is holding talks with more than 140 international counterparts via the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, where countries are looking at global tax issues with a particular focus on tech. The goal for now is non-binding consensus on a minimum tax rate, I believe they're going to target they're going to target things like Bitcoin with using the climate. And this little organization that says that she's holding the talks with this organization, well, green growth and sustainable development. There's that word sustainable again. Where does that come from? It all comes from the same places, the same talk, folks. World Economic Forum, World Bank, United Nations, all of these global organizations, United Nations, they're all the same thing, and Janet Yellen's a part of it. Now, remember what Christine Lagarde said? Listen. And remember, as she talks, they're all buddy-buddy, same people. Yellen, Lagarde, all of them. Listen to what she says.
We don't have much time left, but I do need to ask you, there are so many potential bubbles, and one of those is Bitcoin, obviously. Are you worried about the Bitcoin bubble blowing up? And at what point does this need greater regulation?
First of all, I would observe that it is a speculative. It's a speculative asset by any account. I mean, when you look at the most recent developments upward and now the most recent downward trend, for those who had assumed that it might turn into a currency. Terribly sorry, but this is an asset, and it's a highly speculative asset. Which has conducted some funny business and some interesting and totally reprehensible money laundering activity. I think that there are criminal investigations that have taken place that I'm sure will continue to take place that demonstrate it very clearly. What I think is far more interesting, and there has to be regulations, and this has to be applied and agreed upon.
Could I press you on this? And how strict should this regulation be, and who should regulate the different parts of it? So data flows, including the important issue of data flows.
Well, it's a matter that needs to be agreed at a global level, because
you mean like changing tax structure at the global level?
There is an escape. That escape will be used. So I think it needs to be. If anything, it shows that global cooperation, multilateral action is absolutely needed, whether it's initiated by the G7, moved into the G20, and then enlarged, but it's something that needs to be addressed. And FATF is clearly an organization that has expanded in that respect. Clearly what we're seeing, which is in a completely different category, is the development of digital currencies, which is an area where we have begun doing a lot of work, where we have concluded actually yesterday a consultation of general public. And we had, believe it or not, we had the highest responses, highest level of...
Now, if you don't think that these people are in the same club, then I'll show you the club. This is Yellen and Lagarde talking about financial stability at the IMF. All these people are in the same club. They're not. They were. Not only are they not. They were never going to let Bitcoin take over their role as running the world's monetary system. Wasn't going to happen. Not going to happen. They can tax this thing out of existence if they want to, folks. And the only thing that they're going to allow is possibly let Bitcoin be a store of value. But even then, they're going to make sure they've got the reins of that thing, and they're going to twist if they need to twist. And I think you're going to see some twisting. To what degree, I don't know. But these people, it's like Brad Garlinghouse said a long time ago, before the central banks let any digital currency come in and take over the financial system, they're going to bring out the tanks and the guns. And this is the adult way to think about this. It just is. Okay. Wanted to remind everybody that Kava Labs has still got this $50,000 contest going. There's 3 days left. That's as of yesterday, to win your share of $50,000 prize pool in Binance. Collect and win promo for Women's History Month. Trade Kava and Hard on Binance and win. Now, everybody can't do this, but I am going to put a link to this contest that takes you to this page so you can read all the details of it. It's on Binance. I'll put a link in the description. I've got a Kava link at the top of my description. I'll add this link into there as well, the $50,000 contest. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that there's a $50,000 contest going on at Binance having to do with Kava. Thank you for listening.